Three, two, one. Good morning and welcome to your Tuesday edition of the Morning Jog. My name is Matt Cohan and I'm joined by two hunks, Francis Ellis and Robbie Berger. Fellas, how are we?
Yeah, two hunks of beef, all natural, prime, grade A, free range beef. Hunks.
Francis is a little leaner than Robbie. I'll give you that, Francis. But you look
Francis,
right?
I was hoping you would give me that tanning compliment while we were rolling, rather than
I never said that. I never said anything nice.
Yeah, on this beautiful tan that I got going here. If I don't
do
say
look
much
a
for
little
myself.
a little bronzed. Do you look like you've been outside? You've been working outside? Is that what you've been doing? You've been manual labor?
I feel I just, when you bronze up, you just feel better.
Yeah.
About yourself. I never was a big bronzer, but until today, I really do like it now, especially after that compliment.
I guess that's one of the upsides to having a weekend job. You have to have. You had to get extra work on the weekends because you were doing so poorly.
That too. There goes the compliment.
Robbie, come on, man. If you don't give it back to me, then I'm just an asshole.
Keep it that way.
We got a long
Robbie.
show, don't we?
Yeah, fair point.
All right, fellas, usually I like to make this show about you because you guys are the influencers. But today is my birthday.
Happy fucking birthday, Matty.
Thank
I
you.
had no idea. You're just going to drop it on us like that?
Happy
Big
birthday.
33. I know I didn't get any. If you guys need an address update, because I didn't get any Amazon Prime packages, but
The big 3-3 for the big fella,
big
huh?
3-3, buddy.
Oh, baby.
And you know what you guys couldn't get me
the
for my
Larry
birthday? The Dan Bilzerian autobiography. The king of Instagram has just announced that he has finished the long-awaited book, and he offered $5,000 to the best book title in the comments on social media. I mean, people went after him. Let me read you a couple of the more popular ones. Love your kids so they don't end up like me, the tale of Dan Bilzerian. How to live a hollow, pointless, and completely loveless life. Jesus. Boring dipshit gun nut likes coke and attention. In parentheses, note, this book sucks. And the last one, I still don't know what he does or why I should care. The Dan Bilzerian story. Francis looks like he's going to sing Bilzerian's song on this one. Francis, what do you think?
With every time that you get any story related to Dan Bilzerian, you get an immediate knee-jerk allergic reaction to anything he posts. And I think in order to truly understand the depth of pitifulness that these people are at, you have to do a little research into who they are. And what I saw was that these guys who were offering these really mean titles to Dan Bilzerian, if they would get a lot of likes on their tweet suggestion, they would then promote whatever it was they were doing with their sad, sorry lives. And one of these guys had written a self-help book for how to avoid procrastination that had 27 reviews on Amazon. So he offered this horrible, demeaning title suggestion shot at him. It got like 1,000 likes on Twitter. And then in his own subtweets, he started promoting his own book. These people are pathetic. I don't even know. I can't come up with an analogy for what that would be like. But in my mind, it's just, people make fun of Dan Bilzerian because his dad made a ton of money and he's been able to live off of that. My dream is to make enough money so that I can give my kids money so they don't have to worry and can do whatever they want with their life. If that means being a school teacher or a professional poker player who just shoots guns at naked women all the time, who cares? I've given it to them. I've done my job as a father. I salute Dan Bilzerian. Happy birthday, Matt Cohen.
Thank you, dude. Francis is definitely reading this book. How about you, Robbie?
Yeah, you know what? I just hope that people know, and if you probably will within the first couple chapters, because there will be no structure to this book whatsoever, just that it was written by Dan Bilzerian. I actually wish Bilzerian had somebody else write it, because then the writer would have a chance to kind of dig deep and figure out this thing, like Francis, you mentioned the poker player thing. Where did the money really come from? There's things to Bilzerian that I actually would find really interesting. I really would. But because it's being written by Dan Bilzerian, I really don't think he's going to knock himself at all. and he won't really dig deep. It'll be a lot of the stuff that we already know. Had he gone elsewhere and have somebody else write the book, Lord knows he has the money to afford it, I think I may buy.
Do you guys have any title suggestions for this book? Any alternative headlines that might win you $5,000?
Dan Bilzerian, written by Dan Bilzerian. Just keep it short and sweet. He might just forget to do a title to it.
I got Guns in Gonorrhea up there. Smell My Fingers was another one I had.
And by the way, happy birthday, Matt Cohen.
Thank you. Buns and Trust Funds.
I like that. I'm trying to think about something like Dan Bilzerian, What People Want But Are Too Lazy to Work For.
I will say I am so interested to see how it's structured, the way that he writes. I think it'll just be so that I am curious to say, and it's just another part of Dan Bilzerian that yes, I am curious about.
It's got to be a picture book now. It should be like a coffee table book, and I think he's writing it like a fucking memoir, like he's Barack. It's unreal. All right, fellas, we're gonna move on. Speaking of guys with an affinity for traveling, James Harden has been immortalized in a Houston area strip club. Jamil Clay revealed in the latest episode of the Joe Budden podcast that the Beard's jersey has been retired in a Houston, Texas strip club after casually spending $1 million in just one night. Clay said James has his jersey like hanging from the top. They were doing that because they said James has been going in there and spending like a lot of money. So they gave his own jersey hanging from the rafters of the strip club. Harden, of course, signed a 4-year extension in 2017 worth $160 million, but so this is a drop in the bucket, but $1 million in one night, Robbie, you got to wake up feeling pretty shitty.
Look, it may be the only place to retire James Harden's jersey, throughout his career, because it doesn't look like he's going to win anything with the Rockets anytime soon. But do you know how much, if he did it the way the strip clubs did it, and if he was dropping singles, do you know how many singles you have to throw on the ground to get up to $1 million?
1 million,
I think that possibly that's going to affect the shooting form? Was there anything on the $1 million bill when the check came out that he disputed? There's just so many different things with this that I just find absolutely fascinating. And yeah, people are going to be all over him if he doesn't go far into the playoffs with this now coming out. But I just think it's fascinating stuff. And I think he needs, honestly, if he put $1 million down, he needs more than his jersey retired there.
Yeah, that's so funny, Robbie. Do you think he was going through the itemized receipt and was like, hang on, 48 baskets of chicken tenders? No, we only had 44.
I did not have those chicken tenders. I had one, but we didn't have 40.
Yeah, we didn't have 48. I just can't fathom, because I guess some strip clubs are more expensive than others, obviously. But what would you be able to get for $1 million? What's off limits? I mean, is anything off limits? Can you take 20 of the women home and have them live with you for the weekend? Do all rules and laws go out the window? Can you set up a target and just shoot an AR-15 at it like it's that tomahawk thing that people do in Brooklyn? Like, what's unavailable if you're willing to hit a minimum spend of $1 million?
Yeah, that's a great question, because if you do that, if you donate $1 million to like an educational institution, you get your name on the building. I mean, just hanging from the rafters, he kind of got a raw deal here.
Think about the other guys too that were in that strip joint while Harden was there. Do you think any girl paid any attention to them? Do you think that girl cared about a $20 lap dance while Harden's out here throwing millions?
It's a great question, because you figure, let's say that he rolled in with 10 of his buddies and then he handed them all $50,000. That's only getting us halfway there. You know what I mean? Like, and every single one of those dudes would be the highest spender in the strip club that night, probably.
Yeah, the the clout game for like spending a lot at a strip club, how that's sudden, like it's viewed in a positive light. If it came out that he spent $1 million just to have sex with a girl, everyone would be like, whoa, dude, that's prostitution. But he's spending $1 million to do everything but having sex with a girl. So he's really playing himself.
Totally. And then, like Francis said, it's what at that point when you're spending that much money, what is off limits? You know, where does it end?
And one last thing that I'm going to offer here, which I hope this doesn't get me into trouble, but like you hear about people spending tons and tons of money or getting engaged to women to throw people off the scent of like their true sexual identities. What would James Harden be hiding that he's into to have to spend $1 million at a strip club to make everyone think he's like this straight playboy who loves women so much? Like, how deep and hardcore of like a pedophile or a necrophiliac would you have to be to set up this elaborate and this is extravagant of a beard, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, he is hiding that, to use a Francis word, haunting chin with that beard. So, I mean, who knows how fucking deep this goes.
Yeah. Because I think he could have accomplished this same thing for like 400 G's. Like people would still be talking about it. You know?
There's certainly some diminishing marginal returns there after 400,000.
And now you feel bad for the next guy that wants to drop 100 G's because it's like nothing compared to what Harden did, when really that guy dropping 100 G's is doing an honorable thing.
Yeah, it's very honorable. Exactly
very
right.
True. You know? Some good stuff here, boys, but we have to transition to our third and final story. A couple of weeks ago, we had Fruit Loops giving Toucan Sam a permanent makeover, and today, another piece of our childhood will change forever as Warner Bros. Is stripping Elmer Fudd of his gun license. The Looney Tunes cartoons reboot, which premiered last week on the streaming service HBO Max, will no longer feature guns in response to the U.S. gun violence, according to executive producer Peter Braungart, who spoke to the New York Times last week. He said, the old Looney Tunes violence is here too. The stick of dynamite, the intricate booby traps, the anvils, and the bank safes dropped on unsuspecting heads. We're not doing guns, but we can do the cartoony violence, TNT, the Acme stuff, all that was kind of grandfathered in. In the short preview clip posted at HBO on YouTube, Fudd's rifle was replaced by a skiff, which seems to be a little bit more personal of a mechanism to commit a homicide. What do you think here, Francis?
Well, I think, you know, out with one, in with another. And now what we're going to see are kids coming to schools with anvils and dropping them on their classmates. And does that really solve, you know, the sadness and the trauma of school violence? Maybe. Look, I could see this turning to the next like war on Christmas type thing. But at this point, I don't think the country has the stamina right now to really fight over something like this. So I think this is the right time for Disney or Warner Brothers to have come out with this announcement.
Right. People did argue it on Twitter, of course, saying that taking the rifle away from Fudd is like taking away the spinach from Popeye. Robbie?
Well, you know what, though, Matt? It's just like what you said with the Toucan Sam thing. I'm just big on, you don't mess with somebody's childhood. That's nostalgia. That there's so much more to it that you just don't mess with and you leave it as be. You said it with grandfathered in. If it was grandfathered in, it stays in. I was never a big Looney Tunes guy, but I totally understand the frustration of other people. You know, if I was watching SpongeBob and they did something to SpongeBob, I would have a huge issue with it. You just don't come into somebody's childhood or any type of nostalgia and mess with it, and that's what they did.
Yeah, and it's not like they're changing the narrative either. It's not like Fudd. He's still trying to commit murder. You know, it's not like he's become a nice guy. You know?
He just is probably going to be doing it in a different way.
Yeah, he's got to skip. He's got to look him in the eyes when he does it now. It's almost more fucked up.
But here's the other thing. Like, let's say that they had swapped his rifle out for a bow and arrow. I feel like Native American communities would have claimed cultural appropriation. Yep. Let's say that he swaps the bow and arrow out for a...
You can't win.
The list of banned weaponry and imagery in cartoons is ever growing. And at some point, we're just going to have to only feed our children Kumon worksheets. And maybe that's for the best. You know, maybe that'll help us keep pace.
It may not upset you, but one of these days, Something's going to come to something that you used to love back in the day, and it's going to strike a nerve in you like no other.
Like
Really?
if Kashi changes the cereal box, Francis is, his whole
Yeah.
world is upside down.
Yeah, fine. If that day comes, we'll talk about it on the morning jog, and I will openly weep in front of you boys.
He's going to implode.
All right, boys, we're going to stick a pin it there because I can say so because it is my birthday. Thank you for listening at home. We'll be here same time, same place tomorrow. Stay safe, stay open-minded. Peace.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Thank you.
Maddie.
Thank you.